Oh. All right, guys. Once I have a seat, you guys can begin. Start to share. All right, begin.
Assalamu alaikum. This is our economics project for the stock market game by Zaid, Hamza, Lisa, and Hassan. Okay, so the first company that we actually decided to invest in was Apple Inc. Apple is like the second largest phone selling corporation to ever exist in the world, and it's in most of every human's pockets out here right now. We invested in the stock because of its popularity and its commitment of buyers. The investors in Apple have high expectations because of the success in the past, so they're most likely to invest more and stay more long term. Because of ongoing the war in Ukraine and Russia, most of not all stocks have taken a stump, and Apple is one of them. Over the course of the 6 months, Apple's stock has been decreasing and then spiking up shortly after. We took this to our opportunity by investing at the low and hoping to sell it high. We invested 10 shares into Apple having hope and ended up losing $105, which is not terrible compared to our other companies losing up to $600. But as you can see, there was a spike right here going up because of one of Apple's conventions releasing the new MacBook. So you can see it's pretty consistent, but also the drops have been going down. Some reasons because of these drops could be one of their main suppliers had to suspend operations for 2 of their factories in China, which dropped the stock multiple percentages. The next company we decided to go into was DoorDash. We invested into this company because when the pandemic hit, more people have been ordering online and instead of leaving their house during quarantine. So, however, we did not see what was coming because the rise of gas prices make drivers not want to work or just raise their prices completely. DoorDash grew the revenue by 268% in 2020, but then decelerated 45% at the end of 2021. Another reason for this drop would be the competition of food. Somebody could buy from DoorDash one day and then they would share their customers with, for example, Uber Eats or Grubhub. DoorDash recently made an acquisition with Wolt, which is another delivering company, delivers foods and items, but that will not likely recover the drop. But overall, DoorDash is not really a reliable company to invest in due to its sharp drops and unpredictable reasons. So DoorDash, as if the last 6 months, has been dropping periodically. The stock will spike up and then drop back down, making it hard to know when and when not to sell. So after the game ended, we ended up gaining $114.20 of revenue. But as you can see, this was mainly out of luck because right when it was about this region when it ended, and then it dropped right away. But
another stock we decided to invest in is called Intel. Intel is the world's largest computer chip manufacturer and is found in a lot of computer and other PC devices. We chose to invest in this company for a couple of reasons. According to graphs and articles, Intel is known to have really good long-term growth potential. The stock was also at a low during February and was suspected to increase. So we planned on buying it when it was at its low and selling it at its high. Intel is also releasing new products throughout the next couple of months, so this could also increase the stock's value. We chose to invest a total of 15 shares to Intel. This cost us around $741. Unfortunately, the value of the stock went down throughout the course of the game, and we lost $56. The reason this stock dropped in value is because the Intel marketing team failed to impress large-scale investors with their products, causing many smaller-scale investors to become skeptical and take out their money. Next is Advanced Micro Devices Inc., also known as AMD. AMD is a competitor to Intel. Both companies produce computer chips and are rivals. Reasons we invested in this company is that AMD stock has been slowly increasing in value throughout the past 3 years and is gaining in more popularity. The reason AMD is gaining more popularity is because Intel prices are skyrocketing and many people are going for a more affordable option like AMD. This stock, we decided to invest in another 15 shares, costing us a total of $1,933.07. Unfortunately, we lost a total of $537.17. Multiple reasons affected the value of the stock. One reason is that a business known as NVIDIA has dropped in stock. NVIDIA sells complementary products to AMD's computer chips and other parts that may be needed to function a computer. AMD's products are slowly increasing in price, causing investors to fear high price such as Intel.
Another stock we chose to invest in is Activision. They publish popular video games such as Call of Duty, and there are many reasons why we chose to invest in, including Activision stocks have great potential as a long-term investment stock. Microsoft's recent acquisition of Activision guarantees the future of the company, so stock can be held for a long time without risk. Activision stock was valued at low prices before Microsoft acquired it, so now prices are even higher and will get higher soon, which makes now the perfect time to buy the stock. How and why did the Activision stock change? During the last 6 months, the Activision stock stayed mostly constant due to the deal going on with Microsoft, and that will finish in a couple months. Another stock we invested in was Amazon. Amazon is an online marketplace where consumers and producers can buy and sell items. The main product of Amazon is their Prime shipping service. There are many reasons to invest in Amazon stock. Amazon stock is at a low point, which makes now a good time to buy. Due to its current low price, Amazon is a good stock to buy now and hold on to it for a long period of time. Amazon Prime membership prices will rise soon, generating more income for the company. How and why did Amazon stocks change? The Amazon stock has been spiking up and down the last 6 months and is now down 42%. The Amazon stock has been going down due to inflation and rising prices due to supply chain issues. When it says supply chain issues, it basically means like shortages of supplies and resources. It was mostly due to the war going on.
Another stock or company that we invested in was Facebook. We invested in Facebook because we believed that it was because it was at a low price, and if we bought it low, we believed that if we held it long enough, it would grow long term. Another reason why we bought this stock was because it had just relabeled itself as a Meta, and we believed that it would gain more attention, which would cause more potential to grow. We bought 20 shares of the stock at $237 per share, costing us $4,759. We lost $555 to the price of Meta falling down to $210 per share by the time they gained 90. The reason this stock fell in price was because analysts expected the first quarter earnings of Meta to jump from $27 billion to $30.15 billion. However, Facebook failed to meet their expectations, only jumping to $29 billion. Also, this company said that Apple's iPhone privacy changes, which impact its ad targeting and measurement, will result in a $10 billion hit in their revenue. Another company that we invested in was DVN. DVN is a company that basically specializes in hydrocarbon exploration in the US. We decided to invest in 12 shares of this stock because DVN was a smaller company and we believed that it would have more potential to grow. The price per share was not too high, and we decided to invest in it because if it did fail to perform, then we wouldn't lose that much money. We bought 12 shares of this company at around $55 per share, costing a total of $663. We gained $87 due to the price per share jumping to $62 by the time they gained 10. The reason DVN gained is because since it is a company based off of hydrocarbon exploration, petrol and natural gas, demand and price for gasoline was high, causing the stock price to rise. This stock was stable and grew gradually the more we held on to it. The stocks that we couldn't invest in was Bank of America and Tesla. Bank of America, we had researched Bank of America as a stock to invest in due to popularity. However, after further research and analysis, we decided that JP Morgan Chase was a better stock to invest in. Tesla. We had researched Tesla during the middle of the game's time period. Even though Tesla is always at the front of the media, we chose not to invest in the stock because we felt that it would be too costly and we were already losing too much money.
Okay, so as you can see, we invested 43% of our money. Our goal was to invest around half, so we feel like we accomplished that. Unfortunately, we lost a total of $1,351.85. In conclusion, we invested a total of 8 stocks. We feel like we learned a lot from this stock market game, even though things didn't go as planned. If we were to give ourselves a grade, it would be B minus because a lot of the stocks that we predicted to gain in value didn't really gain in value, and we only invested it in large scale companies. If we were to do the game again, we would do more research on smaller scale companies and analyze it even more. Our main strategy was to hold on to like well-known companies because they were more secure and predicted to gain in value. But even if it's a more long-term investment that's worth it, in our short-term 3-month time period, we needed more stocks that would increase fast, and these stocks just didn't do that. That's
All right, so you guys evenly dispersed the amount of shares. So you guys really didn't go over like 15 shares of a particular company.
Yeah, we didn't.
10 or 15. Right?
yeah, we did 10, 12, and 15.
You did
10,
20 shares.
okay. Was there any businesses or stock that you guys said, oh, this is performing well, let's buy some more?
No, because we thought like the risk, we saw everything dropping, so we just saw like the risk of putting more in, we would just end up going minus like more, like 10,000 or something. So instead, we just decided to just go long term with a short amount of money and save the amount of money that you gave us originally instead of throwing it all away.
Okay. All right. So what was your strategy? I heard some of the strategies, but overall, you guys said that you wanted to invest about half of the money.
Yeah. So we wanted to invest around half of the money into well-known companies that are secure.
Okay.
Those companies are like they're good for long-term growth, but since you had a 3-month short time period, they're not expected to rapidly like shoot up in value.
Okay. All right. That's true. What was the business that I know Issa was during your presentation that it said it made a deal with Microsoft?
It was Activision.
What's that?
It was Activision. It was like Microsoft has to buy Activision, and it will be done in like a couple months.
Okay.
So that's why it stayed constant.
Okay. All right. So I missed that part there. Now this is just me being a 43-year-old person that it used to be called Facebook. Now it's called Meta. Anybody can answer this. What's that about?
They renamed the company. It's like the big cloud is Meta, and then under it they have Facebook.
Okay, good stuff. Okay. So there was a couple companies like the DVN that, of course, I had never heard about. Who, if a parent or research, what brought you guys to like the knowledge of these companies?
So like I was researching small companies to invest in because Hamza said that he wanted to invest in like very big companies to keep it long term. I wanted to get at least one that just starting off, and at the end of it, it was one of the only companies that actually gained us revenue. So us investing in that small company where I researched a small company. So like I wanted to get an energy corporation because the demand has been increasing. So when I invested in it, it was like one of the only ones that actually got us money.
And what was that stock that you guys had? What was it? DoorDash. It just completely plummeted right after the game.
Oh yeah, we got lucky. So like we got the game ended right when it increased, and then it just dropped completely, like into negatives. So
let's see your points. What were some of the points of the stock market that you guys learned?
We learned how to like properly research stocks, from like articles on CNBC to analyzing graphs on the internet.
Okay. All right, gentlemen. Good job.
Escape.
Yeah, you can escape, and if you can go to those 3
Pause.
recording. Guys, we're ready. Ladies, once I have a seat, I'll give you the thumbs up and start. So, whose point? Maybe yeah.
The Stock Market Game by Wolfram, Sneha, Rama, and Mama. passive investment, what is it? The investment strategy my group decided to stick to was passive investing, which also refers to the buy and hold strategy. Our primary goal was to invest in stocks so we build wealth gradually, not through the struggle of keeping track of short-term fluctuations and war market timing. To achieve this, we thoroughly researched what stocks and companies will benefit us in the long run. At this time, it was a few weeks, specifically the 4th of February, before spring break was approaching. So our ultimate thought was to invest in a company that relates to traveling, vacation, and anything that people tend to do more during long breaks. We believe there will be a steady rise of income which will gradually increase our net income and percentage return, and for the sake of the game, our rank. While partially upholding the buy and hold strategy, we ultimately decided to invest in Airbnb and later on EOG Resources.
The companies we invested in were Airbnb and EOG Resources. The competitors of Airbnb were Expedia, Trivago, Vrbo, and TripAdvisor. EOG competitors were Chevron Corporation and XTO Energy.
The first company we invested in was Airbnb. Airbnb was founded in 2008 by Brian Chesky, Joseph Gavia, and Nathan Vofarski. Its headquarters is located in San Francisco, California. At the time that we bought the stock, the shares were $170. We bought 150 shares.
About EOG. EOG Resources is headquartered in Houston, Texas, and is an American crude oil and natural gas exploration and production firm created in 1999. It has operations in the United States and Trinidad and other parts of the world. EOG stands for Enron Oil and Gas Company. The founder of EOG Resources is Mark G. Palmer.
Some companies we considered investing in. The first company we considered investing in was Hilton. Due to the fact that summer and spring break were coming up, we thought of investing in Hilton. And when we looked at it, it was rising in the beginning of the year. But we were really hesitant because it was our first time doing it and we were off to a great start. So we didn't want to invest in something unsure how it'll end. For Microsoft, we looked into the stocks and we noticed that at the time we were going to invest last year, it was decreasing. So we didn't want to invest in it.
Walt Disney is a notorious company which competes with AMC, with Century Fox, and CBS. We thought it'd be a good idea to invest in a company that stock would be at zenith because of its major production and resorts. Also because of spring break coming up. But we chose not to because we could not find much more information about Disney stocks. Another reason was because Disney was not producing any movies at the time, so we figured we would hold off for a while. Oh, we know. Influences on our transactions. Our main incentive to invest in Airbnb was because the holidays were coming up and it was a perfect time for the stocks to skyrocket. Airbnb is a national company that provides temporary housing to people on vacation and allows them to easily pick through different places to stay at. In addition, we invested in EOG for the sole reason that it would be a stable and bulky stock that can give us a steady amount of income. Since it is a national gas company, its stocks started plummeting drastically, which negatively affected us. The reasoning behind this was because of the Russian invasion, which caused the company to slump in oil production, as well as gas prices now slowly rising.
At the beginning of our stock market game, we noticed an immediate increase in our net income from Airbnb. Since we were all new to the stock market game, we were ecstatic with our progress. The very next day, we had a percentage increase of 41% and a net income of $406. As you can see, gradually we kept rising, and on the 16th, it was our highest point we ever reached throughout the whole game. We were at 4.09% at our percentage, and $4,000 in our net income. On February 15th, the company announced that the revenue jumped 59% in the selling period that ended in late December. Airbnb nearly fully recovered from the coronavirus.
EOG. On February 18th, we bought EOG for 65 shares, which each stock was worth $111 at the time. Then on February 24th, we sold the stocks because of the Russian-Ukrainian war. We thought it was the company that was losing its own stocks, and unfortunately, we did not check it to make sure. It turned out to be the war affecting the stocks because, as you can see, EOG was doing good at the time. Since we had sold the stocks in the span of 6 days, we had very little data about EOG compared to Airbnb.
As you can see in the graph, the stocks were a little bit shaky around this time. The lowest point was on March 7th, and it occurred because Airbnb and several other businesses were affected by the third strike Russia made towards Ukraine. Russia's invasion of Ukraine generally sent travel stocks falling. However, the war has brought into view some features of Airbnb. First, the company set a goal of hosting 100,000 refugees from Ukraine. Airbnb has used its platform to help people in other emergency situations. Their site was being used to give charitable donations to Ukrainian hosts as a way of showing support, another way in which Airbnb can connect people. The Airbnb stock started to recover mid-March, and it was boosted by the end of the mask mandates in several states as COVID-19 case rates continued to fall. There was a 13% rise in stocks during the second half of March. During the month of April, it is noticeable that the stock started to gradually fall by 11%. It was because of the market simply correcting itself. Additional pressure from general market volatility also contributed to this. At this point, we were preparing to end the stock market game. As you can see, we didn't we didn't plan to use that much money. We only used around 25,000, and we had a whole 3/4 left. But overall, we did do well in our rankings and the net income. We invested in 150 shares, each share costing around $150. The net cost in total was around $23,000, and the unrealized percentages was around 11.36%.
These are the general 6-month graphs of EOG and Airbnb. Right here is where we lost exactly where we sold EOG when it dropped. And right here is where we gained the most money at the peak of Airbnb. Events affecting the stock market game. The ongoing Russia and Ukrainian war. On Thursday, February 24th of 2022, Russia invaded Ukraine, signaling a significant step forward in the Russia-Ukrainian war, which began in 2014. The conflict has heightened fears of rapid global slowdown, rising prices and debt, and increasing poverty levels. The rise and fall of inflation. The Consumer Price Index (CPI) has noticed that from December 2021 up until March 2022, inflation has been growing almost 1.5% each month. Recovery from COVID-19 pandemic. Soon after the pandemic, significant efforts were made for recovering, and these measures were also extremely effective in stimulating the economy. They also resulted in an increase in consumer debt and company debt. Continuation of labor shortages. While employment growth is strong, there is a labor shortage with more than 10 million job opportunities reported by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, but only 7.4 million people unemployed. This is amplified by the fact that 5 million people have exited the employment matter in the United States since 2020. Impacts of these effects on our strategy. The Russia-Ukrainian war had global stock markets plummeted and Russian stocks falling rapidly, and the ruble, the country's currency, hitting a new low. Russia is a key exporter of both oil and natural gas, and the potential of disruptions has propelled both commodities prices sharply higher in recent times. This was not good for us, as EOG was a firm in the gas and oil company. Inflation's aftermath. Consumers, stocks, and the economy may all suffer as a result of rising inflation. When inflation is high, value stocks perform better, and when inflation is low, growth stocks perform better. When inflation is high, stocks become more unpredictable and unstable, essentially ruining our smooth strategy and hindering it from its success.
Our lowest point was in March 5th, 2022, where we lost $1,700 and about 1.72%. Our peak was in February 16, when we gained about $4,000 and 4% in our, at the end of the game, we gained $2,500 with a 2.53% return rate.
I really like this project because it gave us a chance to learn how to make mistakes and without losing our actual money. We ended up with a pretty good rating, but I still think that we should have invested more, but we did hesitate on a lot of it.
From the stock market game, I learned a lot of useful information on picking the correct stock, making intelligent purchases, and spending money more effectively. This short experience was extremely helpful and was especially beneficial because it put us in a situation where global events and inflation affected our investments.
The stock market game was a very realistic and enjoyable way of representing and teaching us how to use our money. So if I were ever to do this again, I would have used more of the money that was given to us. This taught us unfamiliarized terms and taught us how to thoroughly research and understand the stock market.
Alhamdulillah, I can say that my group and I learned quite a lot during the stock market game. I'm happy with our process and how the stocks we chose benefited us in the long run. I believe our strategy of using passive investment was a good idea, and although we were new to the stock market game, we got quite the hang of it. Working with my teammates was a wonderful experience and overall had a great time. All of us give our experience a B+.
All right, so a couple quick questions. How did you guys learn about the EOG?
An article.
An article, just a random one that you came across?
Yeah.
And it seemed as though it performed well for you guys. Now, while you were seeing it perform well, what, if you guys had a discussion, I'm sure somebody said, well, maybe we should buy some more, right? What prevented you guys from buying more?
Since we were doing so well, we were in the top 3, the majority of the stock market game. Top 3 amongst the people. We were doing so well and we didn't want to take the risk of not doing well.
And-
So we just
And we sold it right at like the Russian-Ukrainian conflict. It had dropped.
Oh,
I
you
don't know
sold
what
it right
conflict.
before, huh?
Yeah.
We only had the EOG resources for 6 days. And the day we sold it was the day that Russia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, how did you, was that just coincidence or was there a strategy to that?
Well, we wanted to invest in another company. We couldn't.
We were going to invest more into ABNB, but the day that we did was the end of the stock market. So we didn't end up doing that.
Okay. All right, let's see here. So, Gufran was telling us about some stocks that you guys did not invest in. How did those stocks end up doing?
Hilton was going really well. Microsoft had a lot of dips and peaks, but it was not really stable. So
Try to go for the stable companies instead of the ones who have chances in a spike or a drop. So we were trying to gradually increase our wealth instead of waiting for a peak and market timing.
All right, thank you guys. If one of you guys will go ahead and pause to hit escape and then hit the button and say pause. Recording.
Oh.
Hit escape first. There you go. Some more.
Oh.
Go for more. There you go. Pause recording.